Yes, people, as Bob Marley said, they just don't want to see us unite, yeah? And as far back as Bob Marley's time, as far back as Nkrumah's time, you know, that unity of Africa is to continue to be fought. Listen to what more Bob Marley continued to say about all that is going on. Keep on forcing and fighting, they don't want to see us live together. Yes, my people, yo, as Nesta Marley has said, they just don't want to see us live together. Just that unity that he's been talking about. The unity that we are talking about as Africans, yo, people don't want to hear it.
Africa, we are one. There is no one who must be allowed to divide Africa. Our struggle is to liberate the whole of Africa. We want the resources of Africa to benefit the people of Africa and not the West and not the East and not those who come outside Africa. Let us go and help Africans to get their land, to get their minerals and use their minerals for the survival of African continent.
And it's interestingly, those people, they are people within and people outside. People who have really struggled to even see videos like this. Ever think, no. It's a big taboo. We shouldn't be talking about it, you know.
There is a serious problem for the West. I think the West did not see it coming. However, it was very naive of the Western nations to think that the exploitation of Africa was going to continue unabated forever. The West is definitely, if I may use four-letter word, not so kind, they may be pissing in their pants because what's happening in Africa is indeed a revolution, and a revolution that's way past due.
And it's interesting, since we've been posting videos encouraging the diaspora to be part of Africa's uprising, people have jumped onto this channel, trying to share abuse, trying to throw shade. Mainly because, no, that's something that shouldn't happen. Africans should allow themselves, blacks should allow themselves to continue to be abused because that's their status quo. That is what they want to happen. And it's interesting where, you know, those people have been bold enough to jump onto this channel asking, who dare we? Is that an English word? How dare we, you know, talk about African unity? You know what? I have done a little bit of research into Bob Marley's music, and you know what? If you check on Bob Marley's music, top ranking definitely talks about what? African unity. And that's one of the ones that that is exactly the one that I've just played to you now. Yeah? Apart from top ranking, Bob Marley talks about another one which I am going to play to you. And just to let people know that the whole concept about African unity is not today. It's not a subject that is just raising up, you know. We are going to be going through, you know, as far back as ages where the legends like Bob Marley and all them have definitely been continuing to share to us that we need to be able to take that bold step in terms of looking towards the unity of us as a community. We are talking about the present days where we are having people tell us that Africa must unite. And in as much as all these things may sound like a facade or something that may be a bit of a concept, the question is, it's never been done. And what we need to be asking ourselves is there anything stopping us? Is there any reason why? And this is not to say we need to be copying people as to what they're doing, but leaving one country to the other is basically costing less. We just been giving those borders, those boundaries for us to continue to hold ourselves in cages because we are so committed to our individual countries. I think the time is now. We definitely need to be able to take that bold step and look towards the one Africa. We need to look towards bringing ourselves as a community, and especially for us in the diaspora, for us to be able to see the bigger role that we are going to be playing, or the bigger role that we play in the emancipation of our community. Join me listen to what is going on in Niger at the moment, and possibly you may understand the reason why a united Africa may give us or a united Africa may lead to the end of this oppressive system that has continued over and over, both internally and externally.
The revolutionary government in Niger has just increased the price of uranium that it exports on the world market to 200 euros per kilogram. It was previously paying, or rather charging, 80 cents. The French were getting Niger's uranium for 80 cents per kilogram, and the world market price is 200 euros per kilogram, which is what little Macron will have to pay from now on. You see, it pays to stand up for your rights. That's what the people in Niger have done.
And if we look at the legends, the people of old, all them people had something to do in regards to coming or having some kind of contact from the diaspora.
Start by saying that the subject of Pan-Africanism is one that remains as important today as it was, in my view, many years ago. Those of you who are familiar with the struggle for Pan-Africanism will remember its story, particularly through the activities of Africans in the diaspora. You'll particularly remember that prior to the much more famous meeting held in 1945 in Manchester, in the United Kingdom, Africans in the diaspora, particularly in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago, in Jamaica, were very particular about having connection with the continent of Africa. But it must concern us, particularly at this time. And I hope during this conversation I'll be able to demonstrate why, in order for us to understand the present, we must understand the past, which will also enable us to have a glimpse on what the future holds.
Guys, all that I would say is the unity of Africa is never going to be done by other people. It is definitely us. It's about you and I digging in and being able to see this vision come through. Tell us in the comment section if you think this is something that you agree to. And if you don't, let us know the alternative. But the reality is, throughout this video, we are going to be using different videos that basically talks about the same thing. The oneness, the unity. Let's come together as a community. Let's protect ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to be able to look out for the one Africa. We need to be in business, in our policies, in what we do. We need to look for the oneness. And that is the most important thing.
Any African, a Nigerian, a Ghanaian, all over, rekebona rena self. Because a pain of Africans, it's our pain, not only here, even abroad. Those in the diaspora, those people are suffering. They are harassing them. They've got no rights. In America, it's even worse. Africans are suffering everywhere. When they come back home, you still make them suffer. Why? What did these Africans do to you? Let's protect one another. Let us be one thing. Let us love our continent. Let us fight for our continent. Let Africa one day realize its own freedom. Let Africa one day stand on its own feet and say, I own my minerals, I own everything that belongs to this continent. Let Africa alone be able to say, enough is enough, away with colonialism, away with the imperialists. Let the unity of African people reign supreme in all of us. We are Africans, and we are not going to apologize about that. We will defend the Zimbabweans, we will defend Africans in our townships, because we are one thing. This is our continent. There is EFF in every blood of an African child. Let us stop self-hate. But when an African is in South Africa and he doesn't have papers, you beat them. Why? Because you hate yourself. You don't love yourself. You must see yourself in a Zimbabwean. You must see yourself in a Mozambican, because that's who you are.
What we are going to be talking about is what is happening in the continent, in the motherland. What some insiders, even what some of our people are doing to us as a community. So all these struggles that we are talking about, it's not just about the extended, it's not about the external, oppression. We have people amongst us who are definitely succumbing, who are actually dancing to the tune of these oppressors, in order for them to be able to grab some money here and there for themselves and their families and their cronies, in order for the bigger population to struggle. Check out this video, which shows little children, basically what they're going through, the youth, what they are going through. And as you continue to watch this, let it be known to you that after all these mud, after people continue to surround themselves or muddle themselves in this mud, whatever jewelry, whatever, natural resources gained, they are going to be selling it to the master. The master who will be determining the price of that particular resource. It's interesting where I found this TikTok video, which is talking about what has happened to Niger's uranium since this coup came up.
The revolutionary government in Niger has just increased the price of uranium that it exports on the world market to 200 euros per kilogram. It was previously paying, or rather charging, 80 cents. The French were getting Niger's uranium for 80 cents per kilogram, and the world market price is 200 euros per kilogram.
Just like we always say, we have no way, or we will no way suggest that coup is a replacement or coup is the alternative in ruling the country or the continent. However, when people get frustrated, when people feel they haven't been listened to, and some people have actually continued to take the country for a ride, that is exactly what happened. Look at your people. Interestingly, this is exactly where it really hits home, where we have little children trying to dig the earth in order for them to be able to get their daily bread. Is this not abuse? So when continents are being abused, that is not. But basically what is happening in Africa is because of the main systems, because of, the thieving, everything that is going on in the continent, children are meant to expose themselves. Children have to go and dig the earth in order for them to be able to gain some survival for themselves and their family.
The African heads of states, particularly those heads of states of the former French colonies, majority of them were just puppets put in place to continue the same French legacy, which basically boxed them in, where it said you have no control of your military, you have no control of your natural resources, you have no control of your finances, and if you continue from those three areas, you are free to rule your country any which way you want. What power does that president have? And in the past, he's allowing the pilferage, the exploitation to continue. And that's why the people are rising up to say, if you can't stand up to the bullies and tell them that the exploitation can no longer continue, and look President Macron in the face and say, President Macron, how is it okay that my money, my bank reserves, my natural resources are funding French education, are funding French healthcare, are funding French infrastructure? How is that okay, President Macron? Answer us. Africans in Niger, they want to know.
If we are not able to, stand as equal partners, then who are we? We are all human beings, And that's exactly the reason why I'm saying for Africa to be able to develop, the diaspora has a very, very big role in doing that. Because you know why? I'll tell you. Because with the diaspora, we have come and we have actually realized, and we continue to hold the view that there is no man better than another man. And for that reason, we have seen the best and worst of these systems. And for that reason, they are not able to sell any new dream to us, because we know where the systems, their own systems, are not working. So equally, when they are going back to our motherland, when they are going back to Africa and promise them that they will bring them snow, brothers and sisters, this is where we need to be equally involved in making sure that those, fake dreams, those kind of things that will make our brothers and sisters exchange their land, exchange their natural resources for pittance, can actually be fought against. We actually saw a recent video come out in England where a lady actually went into a shop which ended up in what? All them in terms of what? Demonstrations, which ended because the lady reported, and it was on camera, of her being physically restrained. And there's been different views about it, but the reality is, our ladies, our queens, our empresses, our mothers, why are we exposing ourselves going to buy these extensions? You are our queens, you are our princesses with your natural locks. Why are you going to buy these extensions in order for somebody to be able to make money off you? And apart from our community, there's nobody putting on these extensions on their head. We've got our locks. We love you for that. We love you to be our natural woman. And maybe let's put in the comment section, if you are a man out there, let us know whether you want to see our ladies, whether you want to see our queens with their natural hair, or actually we want them to be going for these extensions, where these extensions are basically what? Other people's hair that they pay loads of money for? And do you know where these hair come from? Do you know the kind of lifestyle that a particular individual lived, that you are happy enough to put their hair on your head, the crown of yours? Do you know where these hairs have come from? So in as much as we would definitely not suggest that people should be treating our queens like that, is there any reason why we cannot set up our own shops if that's exactly what our queens want?
Mummy, why is he following us?
Why are you following us? Explain to my daughter why you are following all the black people in here.
I don't want any trouble.
We come here and we give you our money and still you treat us like thieves.
Stop shouting or I call the police.
She's not shouting.
Let me come. Let's go. You always treat us like nothing.
But why?
Because until black people have their own shops, have their businesses, become their own bosses, these people, whites, brown, they will keep their foot on our neck. Nina, never let these people hold you back.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, that's them. These were the shoes I was talking about.
Excuse me.
Can I get these in a 4, please?
No.
Get the shoe in a 4. Do your job. I want to speak to your manager.
I don't have a manager.
Right. Excuse me, this assistant was just really rude.
Miss Richards, your stylist is ready for you. Shall we head up to the private floor?
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, let's get away from all of this.
We'll find the perfect outfit for tonight. Thanks.
Oh my God.
As a black man, maybe just for me, if I had my own way, my wife, my children, when it comes to my circle, everybody should keep their natural hair. And if you are keeping your natural hair, if you are keeping your locks, unfortunately, I've gone maybe a little bit bold. Let's get serious. I can't keep my locks on, but that is us as a community. Think about it wider. Is there any other community that go and buy hair? I doubt. Let me know if you are a woman out there that you think, or maybe you can help us to understand the reason why we are seeing our ladies, you know, buy these extensions, which unfortunately are not being sold by us. So all them cosmetics, they are selling it to us, making lots of money from us, and yet we end up having these abuse. My people, let's start shining our eyes. Let's start shining our eyes, because in as much as we can complain, we can talk about what is being done against us, sometimes we give ourselves the opportunity for people to do that. We expose ourselves for people to be brave enough to do it in our faces, because we still go back to buy from these places. So for those of you who have got a business acumen, why are we not setting up our own shops? Why are we not buying from ourselves? And if you are out there going to buy from other people, have a think about it. That which community are you empowering? We are definitely not asking for any form of division, but any money you make should be able to circulate within your community before you think about other people. And that's exactly that. Our community needs your money. Our community needs to expand. Our community needs your resource. In order for us to be able to grow, we need to be able to learn to invest within our community. And going back to Africa, my brothers and sisters, I heard this particular interview from Malema, and I think, you know, it does hit home. Even for those of us in the diaspora, we're still going through these hustle.
We never said we want borders. These borders were imposed on us by the colonizers. We are one people. The problems of Zimbabwe are our problems. We must help to solve the problem of Zimbabwe.
My people, we need to open our eyes. We definitely got leaders in Africa who can definitely make the change. But until we've got those leaders, this is what is going to happen. And I know some people will be doing all they can in order to stop any form of uprising.
Let's be serious here. Let's stop pushing lies about what's happening. They know the exploitation is happening. It's happening in Niger. It's happening in Burkina Faso. It's happening in Mali. It's happening in every African country. Let's make no mistake about this. We're sick and tired of giving up our lunch to Western nations. African children, they need to eat too. African children need to go to school. African children need good healthcare systems. Behind all that abuse, we need to let the Western world know that there are millions of African children who are going hungry, millions of African children who are dying, millions of women, African women who are dying giving birth to another life, millions of African youth who are unemployed, all because the Western world is continuing with the agenda of exploitation, and exploitation of the African continent. That era is over. Coming together as Africans and saying, enough is enough. This has got to stop.
Let's bear in mind, Africa has got what? A big population, a big youthful population. And for them to be able to have a future, they would want to see things that will definitely show them that there is a future for them. My people, let's think about tomorrow. And just like I said, in as much as we continue to talk about the oppression that is coming from other people out there, within ourselves as community, we need to make sure we are actually fixing ourselves. We need to make sure that we are re-educating ourselves. We need to hold the hands and, of our brothers and sisters back in the motherland, so that we can know what's going on in the motherland. They can equally, help us to be able to come back and build the motherland, because that is the only one that we've got. That is the only one that we've got. But what I am putting out there today is, my people, we've got a role to play. Let's listen to what Bob Marley said. Yeah? So as Kwame Nkrumah has said, as Bob Marley has said, if you think about it, the message has been clear from the onset. For us to move out of Babylon, we need to go back to our father's land And that's children of the Rasta man and my people. This is no rocket science. Bob has said it. He said it. My people, it's about time. We have to. We're going back to our father's land, okay? We definitely going back to our father's land. And in order for that to happen, yo, you have to dig deep. I have to dig deep. I have to talk about these things on this channel. And equally, if you are just watching this channel for the first time, my name is Nana SA. What I definitely ask of you is you share this video with other people. Let people hear the campaign. We are definitely fighting this war in different ways. And if this is what we have to do in order for people out there to be able to hear the injustice which is going on in the motherland, then definitely do it. Share it with somebody, like the video, subscribe as well, because the more we subscribe to the channel, the more we like the video, the more it will be shared further and wider so that other people will hear what's going on. Equally, we did post a couple of weeks ago an African national anthem. Have you listened to it? If you haven't, go back to the channel. We need to be able to fight our own struggle, and just like we always say, black problems need black solutions. But for us to be able to make it, we need to make sure we come up with our own solutions. Think about this. Bob Marley has been dropping gems. Bob Marley dropped gems. On destiny. And in this judgment there is no partiality. So arms and arms in arms, we fight this little struggle. And that's the only way we can overcome our... Brother, your rights, my rights. So right. We have to fight. Yes, my people. We're gonna fight. Fight for our rights. Zimbabwe, go and listen to it, okay? But Marley shared those gems not for sharing's sake. He saw the vision. He saw that the unification on Africa, the unification of blacks, the one Africa is what is going to, put us on the map. Okay, the internal power struggles are really not going to take us anywhere. We need to identify, we need to be able to identify, the appropriate leaders in order for us to be able to overcome the struggles. And that's exactly what's going on. They try to divide and rule us, okay? People to beach, right? Brother, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, yo. People, what I would definitely say is, on this channel, we celebrate black excellence. If that is not for you, you have a choice to skip and go to another channel. However, if you want to join us on this channel, please click on the subscribe button. Equally, if you think, this is my reason why I can't sleep, why I struggle to see black people unite, and that's exactly the reason why I need to jump into this comment, please don't just jump in, subscribe. I won't ask you to like the video. You can choose to do whatever you want, but apart from that, make sure you introduce yourself so that we know that we've got one of the trolls on the channel. We want to see you. We want, Africa will rise, whatever you like, whether you like it or not. The unity of Africa is definitely going to happen with or without you. And equally, this goes to the people who are within, within our community. People are really doubting it, and I definitely need to reassure you, as the diaspora, we have a big role to play.
In 1945, Africans were represented in Manchester. Kwame Nkrumah was present at that meeting. Marcus Garvey was present at that meeting. Jomo Kenyatta was present at that meeting. Obafemi Awolowo was present at that meeting. The drive was to decolonize Africa. And one of the things that amazes me is that at that time, these individuals did not have the internet, they did not have WhatsApp, they did not have the kind of communication that we have now. But it is amazing at how they were communicating. Even air transport was not as it is now. I was just recently reading the activities of one of the greatest Africans who, in my view, ever lived, and whom many people do not know about. The great Ghanaian James Emmons Kwegyir Agri, normally referred to as Agri of Africa, and how he traveled from the United States and went to many countries in Africa, traveling by sea and talking about why Africa should be united. And famously in 1949, Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah is saying, "Seek ye first the political kingdom, and the rest will be given unto you." And I dare say that the rest has never been given to us. And even if it is coming too slowly. But it is instructive that at that time, the spirit was about the continent of Africa. We were conscious, the leaders were conscious, that Africa decolonized without unity would remain weak. And of course, Africa is weak, the weakest continent on earth.
What's ahead for Bob Marley? Do you know? Do you have an agenda or a master plan?
Well, I feel ahead for I and I is the unity of Africa. And then when the unity of Africa comes, then people will really understand, say, you know, there was something in this thing. There was something in it.
Do you think of yourself more as an African than a Jamaican?
Yeah, because one of the main things is that we're Rasta. From you accept Rasta, you become an Ethiopian, which is Africa. Next thing again, the history of Jamaica shows that the Arawak Indian was living there, and it belonged to the Arawak Indian. Now, our history shows that through slave business, black people come out of the Western thing, you know? So we still figure, say, Africa is a root, you know?
What do you see as most of Africa's problems as far as uniting? I mean,
I see Africa's problem is that outside people keep on fatiguing the people, you know, and make them can't really get them things together. You know, if it's not this superpower, it's that superpower. But Africa is only a place which part of music exploit, you know. Nobody know really. Africa so rich that it become a man who's going to Africa, steal out to a man, steal and carry back in a film country. And Africa stayed alive, you know. Well, Africa ready.
Garvey used to say Africa for the Africans. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, Africa for Africans, a woman abroad, you know. True.
Will your home base though always be Jamaica, or someday would you like to live in Africa?
No, be in Africa.
Yeah, in the reawakening of Africa. However, if that's something that you don't believe in, definitely you are entitled to it. But what we definitely say is, watch this space. It will definitely happen with or without you. And if you are in support of that, my people, let's shine our eyes, okay? The time has come for us to be able to stand up as a community, as one people. Click on the subscribe button, like this video. I had to use excerpts from different people who are continue to listen to and are basically sharing the same message. And basically the message is Africa is uniting. Africa is getting rid of all those internal oppressors. Africa is getting rid of all those external oppressors. And I think it's about time, if you out there continue to wonder and actually doubt that there will be that united Africa one day, I would say make sure you subscribe, watch this video, click on the notification button, because when that day comes, I will definitely be one of the first people to come and say, we told you so. People, let's continue to celebrate ourselves as a community. It's our time to be able to educate ourselves. Nobody will do it for us. We need to be able to shine our flags higher. And if you are an African, wherever you're from, whether you are from the Caribbean, whether you are from Africa, so far as you identify as a black man, you remember what it said? You are an African. Drop your flag of which country you're from, and let's see how the United States of Africa, the United Africa, is ever gonna look like. People, respect to you. Sorry it took me a while to upload this video, but you know what, we move. There will be further videos uploaded soon, and that will still be celebrating us as black people, as a community. People, I see you. Shine your eyes and remember to click on the subscribe button. Boom. See you. Respect.